Here's everything you need to catch bass pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. During pre-spawn, which is right now, bass begin staging close to spawning areas, and this is prime time to target them. Look for transition zones, areas where shallow flats meet up with the deeper water. Bass love to hang out near structure too, like big rocks, submerged trees and logs, lily pads, and ledges and drop-offs. A killer hack is to use a fish finder to pinpoint all these staging areas and then cast slightly ahead of the bass instead of directly at them, which will entice them to chase the bait. Bass will be schooling up near these staging areas. They're hungry, aggressive, and on the move right now. And an even better pro hack to find the biggest female bass is to start by targeting slightly deeper beds with gravel or sandy bottoms, and around reeds and stumps that provide protection to lay their eggs. So, what are the best baits and rigs to catch them? A red or orange crawfish color and patterned lipless crankbait is our pre-spawn powerhouse bait because it mimics a crawfish, which a bass is absolutely demolishing in spring. And make sure you vary your retrieve speed using just a yo-yo motion mixed in with pauses to trigger reactionary strikes. And we also like a black and blue or crawfish bleeding jig with a craw trailer to imitate a scuttling crayfish. And another insider's secret during really cold pre-spawn mornings is to use a suspending jerkbait with long pauses to mimic a wounded or dying baitfish. It's irresistible to pre-spawn bass in colder water. And now's a great time to like this video, share it with your fellow fishing enthusiasts, and hit the subscribe button and notification bell to join our community of passionate anglers today. Stick around because there are best tips coming, techniques, and secrets to catch more and bigger bass during every season. Okay, next up is the spawning phase when bass are moving into the shallows to begin building their nests or beds and fiercely protecting them. They get laser focused on their territory, which makes them highly aggressive but also a bit more selective in their feeding. The best tip to give you is to get polarized sunglasses, which are essential for spotting bass on their beds and identifying the crucial structure you need to target to find the fattest bass. Okay, the best way to spot a bass's spawning bed is to look for circular areas on the bottom where the bass have cleared away any debris. And if you're approaching from the bank, do it quietly so you avoid spooking them. We would strongly recommend much more of a finesse presentation to up your chances of catching stubborn bed spawning bass. You can use a drop shot rig with a 4 to 5 inch finesse worm or creature bait and cast it slightly beyond the bed, then just drag it slowly and subtly into position. Just let it twitch and hover just above the nest until it literally drives them crazy enough to strike and avoid the nest threat. And we also like to use a Texas-rigged lizard, which bass really detest because they're bed predators. So a Texas-rigged lizard in green pumpkin color or watermelon is an amazing choice. Just pitch it right into the nest and let it sit a second or two, and more times than not, the bass will attack it to defend their eggs. But you do have to be a little bit more patient with spawning bass that are guarding their nests, as they can be very stubborn and picky. If you don't get any hits right away, swap out a couple different baits, maybe come back in about 10 minutes with a different color or a different creature, and try again. Okay, now let's dive into post-spawn bass fishing. We hope that you're still with us and you've gotten a lot of great tips along the way that you can employ on your next spawning bass trip. So after spawning, bass are really exhausted and they're going to retreat into deeper water to begin to recover. Just like my long nap after eating way too much at the Thanksgiving table in November. Their metabolism will also slow down, which means you'll have to switch to a slower and more deliberate presentation with your bait and lure tactics. So, of course, you want to make sure that you can locate the best recovery areas where post-spawn bass are often going to be hanging out near secondary points, submerged vegetation, deeper drop-offs, and rocky ledges. So just use your electronics if you're out on a boat to find these hot spots, and that's going to up your chances every time. Now let's talk about the perfect lures to use in post-spawn, and that is a Carolina rig with a soft plastic lizard or a creature bait, which is going to be the perfect combination for post-spawn bass. And all you do is just drag it slowly along the bottom, which will look like an easy worm or crayfish meal to them without having to aggressively chase after it and spend a lot of extra energy. And a really great hack to up your bass fishing game is to spray any of your lures and plastics with garlic or anise oil so it tastes more like their natural forage. And you can also submerge your soft plastics in a bag of coffee grounds overnight because they really love the coffee flavor too. And if you've stayed with us thus far in the video, here's the greatest bass fishing hack of all time. You can actually super glue your trailer onto your jig head with super glue the night before, and that way it stays on real nice, and you can rip it through the heaviest of slop and cover and catch the biggest fish every time. And another killer post-spawn bass tactic is to use a larger 5-inch paddle tail swim bait in a natural shad or bluegill color, depending on the natural bait fish where you're fishing. Just slow the retrieve speed and keep it closer to the bottom too. And always keep an eye on the water temperature. Cooler water means using a slower retrieve, and warmer water can handle a faster retrieve. Okay, folks, there you have it. The ultimate guide to catching bass during pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn everywhere you fish. Remember, success comes down to better understanding the bass's behavior and adapting your tactics and techniques accordingly to catch more fish. If you enjoyed all these insider secrets, fishing tips, and tricks, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on all of our valuable insights, gear reviews, and expert advice that we post daily. Tight lines, folks. We'll see you out on the water real soon. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Please like this video, hit the subscribe button before you leave, and don't forget to enable your bell notifications so you never miss another great video coming your way.